this is Arlene.
Hello, this is Gowri.
Hi, this is Grace.
And together we are from Gowri and ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
And today we have a very special tribute show where we will be reading poetry from our chosen poets. And this is, of course, as a tribute to all the victims on board the MH17 and MH370, as well as all their families who are still behind, waiting for some news from their loved ones.
And we would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to all the 298 passengers, as well as crew members abroad, family and friends of MH17.
So maybe Arlene, you can start. What poem do you have for us today?
I have a poem by Alice Walker. She is a very prominent poet in today's society, and she has been writing a lot of very interesting poems. And one of it that touches my heart is a poem called Torture. I will read it now. When they torture your mother, plant a tree. When they torture your father, plant a tree. When they torture your brother and your sister, plant a tree. When they assassinate your leader and lovers, plant a tree. When they torture you, too bad, to talk, plant a tree. When they begin to torture the trees and cut down the forest they have made, start another. Alice, when they torture your mother, plant a tree. When they torture your father, plant a tree. When they torture your brother and sister, plant a tree. When they assassinate your leaders and lovers, plant a tree. When they torture you, too bad, to talk, plant a tree. When they begin to torture the tree, cut down the forest and they have made, start another.
I will be reading a poem called On Death by one of my favorite all-time poets, who is Percy Shelley. The pale, the cold, and the moony smile which the meteor beam of a starless night sheds on a lonely and sea-girt isle, ere the dawning of morn's undoubted light, is the flame of life so fickle and wan, that fills round our steps till their strength is gone. O man, hold thee on in courage of soul through the stormy shades of thy worldly way, and the billows of cloud that around thee rolled shall sleep in the light of a wondrous day, where hell and heaven shall leave thee free to the universe of destiny. This world is the nurse of all we know, this world is the mother of all we feel, and the becoming of death is a powerful blow to a brain unencompassed with nerves of steel, when all that we know or feel or see shall pass like an unreal mystery. The secrets of things of the grave are there, where all but this frame must surely be, though the fine-wrought eye and the wondrous ear no longer will live to hear and see all that is great and all that is strange in the boundless realm of unending change. Who telleth a tale of unspeaking death? Who lifteth the veil of what is to come? Who painteth the shadows that are beneath the winding caves of peopled tomb? Or unearthed the hopes of what shall be, with the fears and the love for that which we see?
Alright, this poem is recommended by one of my friends. And this is pretty short, but I'll try to read it slow to deliver the message properly. The title is called In Memory by Kimberly Ann Chastain. 1,000 times we needed you, 1,000 times we cried. If love alone could have saved you, you never would have died. A heart of gold stopped beating, two twinkling eyes closed to rest. God broke our hearts to prove He only took the best. Never a day goes by that you're not in my heart and my soul.
And for me, I will continue to read another one poem. It's called Hey Who Feel Death, also by Alice Walker. This is for martyrs. They who feel death close as a breath speak loudly in unlighted rooms, launch uptight in articulated gesture before the herd of jealous gods. Fate finds them receiving at home, grim, the warrior forest who present casual silence with casual battle cries, or stand unflinchingly lodged in common sand crucified.
My next poem is called Give All to Love by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And with this poem, I'd like to remind everyone that love is probably the most important thing in your life. Always cherish your loved ones. Don't take their love for granted. Always cherish every day that you spend with them, because you never know when is the last time that you'll see them. So always, always love with all your heart. Give all to love, obey thy heart, friends, kindred, days, estate, good fame, plans, credit, and the muse, nothing refuse. This a brave master, let it have scope, follow it utterly, hope beyond hope, high and more high it dives into noon, with wing unspent, untold intent, but it is a god, knows its own path, and the outlets of the sky. It was never for the mean, it required courage stout, souls above doubt, valor unbending. Such to reward, they shall return more than they were, and ever ascending. Leave all for love, yet, hear me, yet. One word more thy heart behoved, one pulse more of firm endeavor. Keep thee today, tomorrow, forever, free as an Arab of thy beloved. Cling with life to the maid, but when the first vague shadow of surmise flits across her bosom young, of a joy apart from thee, free be she, fancy free, nor thou detain her vesture's hem, nor the palest rose she flung from her summer diadem. And thou loved her as thyself, as self of purer clay, though her parting dims the day, stealing grace from all alive, heartily know, when half gods go, the gods arrive.
Okay, my next poem, it's called Left Alone by Jonathan P. Liner. So many things we never got to do, so many conversations we never got through. I feel lost and empty now. Every day, I ask how. I could feel nothing when you died. I felt I wanted to run and hide 'cause I felt blind. Peace and the clarity I couldn't find. They say when you die your soul just flies away. I wanted to chase your soul, so for another day you could just come and stay. You're my Grams, you taught me how to stand on my own. Now that you're gone, I feel as though I can't do it alone. I've tried so hard to see things through and become the person you wanted me to be. Sometimes it's just hard to being me. I'd give anything I could just to talk to you once more, to see you walk through the door, and tell me that everything was going to be alright for sure. When I look into the sky, I picture you staring down, which is why I have no reason to frown. All the things you taught me, all the songs we used to sing, now you're gliding under God's precious wings. I hope He's taking good care of you, because now you're in His place. I hope all your worries and all your fears have left your face. I never got to say goodbye, that was the worst part. But I know that when you left secretly, you said goodbye to my heart. So when I lay myself into bed tonight, I know you will always be there to hold me tight.
The last poem from me as of today is We Alone, also by Alice Walker. It's about loneliness. We alone can devalue gold by not caring if it falls or rises in the marketplace. Wherever there is gold, there is a chain, you know. And if your chain is a gold, so much the worse of you. Feathers, shells, and sea-sheep stones are all as rare. This could be our revolution, to love what is plentiful as much as what's scarce.
My next poem is by Henry Lawson. It's called A Song of Brave Men. Just to remind everyone out there to be brave, no matter what happens. Man, is the sea your master? Sea, is man your slave? This is the song of brave men who never knew they were brave, ceaselessly watching to save you, stranger from foreign lands, soundly asleep in your stateroom, full sail for the good wind sands. Life is a dream, they tell us, but life seems very real when the lifeboat puts out from Ramsgate and the buggers put out from Deal. A gun from the lightship, a rocket, a cry of "Turn me out, lad!" Ships on the sands they're shouting, and a rush of the oilskin clad, the lifeboat leaping and swooping in the wake of the fighting tug, and the luggers afloat in hell's water. Oh, tourist with cushion and rug, think of the freezing ferry without 1 minute's relief, when they stood all night in the blackness by the wreck of the Indian chief. Lashed to their seats, crouching to the spray that froze as it flew, 26 hours in midwinter, that was the lifeboat's crew. Twice she was swamped, and she righted in the rush of the heavy seas, and her tug was mostly buried, but these were common things, these. And the luggers go out whenever there's a hope to get them afloat. And these things they do for nothing, and those fishermen say, "Oh, now it's nout." Enemy, friend, or stranger, in every sea or land, and across the lives of most men run stretches of good wind sand, and across the life of a nation, as across the track of a ship, lies the hidden rock or the iceberg within the horizon dip. And wise men know them and warn us with lightship or voice or pen, but we strike, and the full survivors sail on to strike again. But this is a song of brave men wherever is aught to save, Christian or Jew or Wowser, and I knew one who was brave, British or French or German, Dane or Latin or Dutch, Scandis that ignorant British reckon with daggers and such. Wherever on a wrecked Titanic in a scene of wild despair, the officers call for assistance, a Swede or a Norse is there. Tale of a wrecked Titanic with the last boat over the side, and a brave young husband fighting his clinging, hysterical bride. He strikes her fair on the temple, while the decks are scarce afloat, and he kisses her once on the forehead and drops her into the boat. So he goes to his death to save her, and she lives to remember and lie, or be true to his love and courage, but that's how brave men die. I hate the slander "be British," and I don't believe it, that's flat. No British sailor or captain would stoop to such cant as that. What in the rush of cowards of the help from before the mast, of the two big Swedes of the North who stood by the mate to the last? In every mining disaster, in a new roll mining town, in one of the rescue parties, an Olsen or Hans goes down. Men who fought for their village, away on their country's edge, the priest with his cross and a musket, and the blacksmith with his sledge, a butcher with cleaver and pistols, and the notary with his pike, and the clerk with what he laid hands on, were all ready to strike. And Tennyson notwithstanding, when the hour of danger was come, the shopman has struck full often with his cheating yard-won home. This is a song of brave men, ever wide world over, starved and crippled and murdered by the land they are fighting for, left to freeze in the trenches, sent to drown by the Cape, throttled by army contractors and strangled by old red tape, fighting for home, country, or glory, or what you choose, sacrificed for the syndicates and a monarch in with the Jews. Australia, your trial is coming, down with the party strife, send your crackling lying women back to the old home life, Brush from your parliament benches the legal chaff and dust. Make federation perfect as soon or later you must. Scatter your crowded cities, cut up your states, and so give your brave sons of the future the ghost of a white man's show.
Okay, this is almost an hour before the arrival of the flight MH17, and I hope my last poem here will comfort everyone's heart. The title is called Sometimes Life is Hard by Christine. Sometimes we see things that aren't meant to be seen. Sometimes things aren't always as they seem. Sometimes we need someone to call our own, especially when we are alone. Sometimes people just can't understand why things get out of hand. Sometimes life just isn't fair, especially when people just don't care. And sometimes it's hard to say why things have to be this way. Sometimes it's all you can do to get by, especially when dreams continue to die. Sometimes it's nice to sit in the rain, even to just relieve the pain. And when we've had a really bad day, sometimes we just need to get away. We never know what's wrong with our pain. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. And sometimes when people get hurt, even the strongest one may need comfort.
That's all from our a recitation of poems. So Gowri and Grace, from the poems that you have been reciting just now, what came into your mind in regards with the MH17?
I was mostly trying to send out the message that you have to be strong, because we all have to go through a hard time in life. You know, the intensity might be different for different people, but at some point or another, we are all faced with a challenge. We are all faced with a tragedy, especially when it comes to losing a loved one. It's not necessarily only by death. It can also be a breakup or the end of a relationship or a best friend that betrayed you. You could lose a loved one in so many different ways. And of course, death is probably the hardest way to deal with it. But we do all have challenges in life. We have to face these adversities. And I just want everyone to be brave, to remember that life goes on. And when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So don't give up on this. Don't give up on your life. Don't think that life doesn't have any meaning anymore. You still have to carry on, be brave for the one that you loved.
What about you, Grace?
Me, honestly, I have no exact word to describe how to express my myself towards this incident that happened, and also the time is tick-tocking towards the arriving of the flight. But I do agree with what Gowri just mentioned. We all need to be strong and then support each other towards this incident. And our thoughts are indeed with all of them on flight.
Perhaps the incident of the MH17, the way the family members are facing right now, is best summed by the advice of Rumi, which was a poet in his generation, a Persian poet. He said, "Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes around in another form." And I truly believe in that message. When we lose someone, doesn't mean we will lose the person forever. The person will always be there in our memory. And the only way to grow out of this is to live life that you are proud of, and to be strong, and to always remember that the person that have perished at the MH17 incident, the person will never come back again, but it will still stick in the memory of everyone.
And this also kind of reminds us that life is too short, that we always take things for granted. Sometimes we want to tell people that we love them, but we don't do it as much. we always think that, oh, they already know, or I don't really have to tell them, or I can do it next year for their birthday or what. And we tend to take these things for granted. And even for ourselves, we don't realize how short life is, you know. When we want to achieve something, we want to get something, we're always like, oh, I'll do it next time, I'll do it next year, I'll do it in a few years time. But you could just die tomorrow. You never know when it's coming. And I have a very beautiful quote here by who else but Steve Jobs, where he said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your inner voice. And what's most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition.
Oh, that's beautiful. I remember when my mom passed away, it was very devastating for me. But to me, life goes on. I mean, me, my family, especially my father, going through a loss is not easy, but the best way is to move on with our life, and also to put priority in what matters the most. Hence, the last poem that I recited just now, we are alone in this world. So putting value of what is important to our life is really, really crucial, and we should put value in things that really matters, like our family, our close friends, not on materialistic gains or materialistic focus.
I can agree with that. Also, both of you what mentioned. Don't keep your expression in you. Try to express and your love and what you're feeling towards that your partner, your family members, and also your friends. Start by saying I love you, thank you so much. Then in the future, at least you would not regret it. Life is full of unexpected things, and just express yourself and go around and say, hey, thank you so much. Yes.
But I think at the same time, having some time to grieve for the victims, for the loved ones, is tremendously important. In fact, as being spoken by this one person called Jose and Haris, he said that tears shed for another person are not a sign of weakness, they are a sign of pure heart.
Yes, and I like that you mentioned that, because it's really hard sometimes when you are faced with an adversity. Of course, no matter what I say right now, I cannot put myself in the shoes of those families that lost their loved ones. But all I can say is you should take some time to grieve. You should take some time to cry about it. You know, sometimes crying your heart out really helps, and you just let it all out. But always know that they are in a better place right now, that death is inevitable. It happens to everybody, and as hard as it is, like you said, life has to go on.
And this was also being quoted by your favorite author, Paulo Coelho. Did I mention it right?
I actually don't know. But he's my all-time favorite author, especially the book Alchemist.
He said that anyone who has lost anyone who has lost something they thought was theirs forever finally comes to realize that nothing really belongs to them.
Yep. I think that also goes back to what I learned back in a religious school when I was younger. They said that when you come into this world, you didn't bring anything with you, and therefore when you leave, you can't take anything with you as well. Everything that you have in this lifespan of yours is all temporary. So even when you lose something, you cannot say that you lost it because you never had it in the first place. Everything that you have in life is temporary.
But people will remember the memories, what people we shared together before, and the moments when we laughed together, we cried together, we share our sorrows together. So all those memories, good memories, we will keep it in our hearts.
With that, we want to say thank you to everyone who...
I just have one more.
Oh, you do have one more.
It's just a short snippet from Romeo and Juliet, which I think is very, very beautiful, where he says, when he shall die, take him and cut him out into little stars, and then he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with the night and pay no worship to the garish sun.
Beautiful, beautiful. With that, we want to pay our heartfelt condolences to all the victims, crew members, and family and friends of the victims and crew members of MH17
And MH370 as well.
And of course, not to forget MH370. For all our listeners, do follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Share your messages and condolences on our Facebook. And yeah, don't forget to tune us in at durianasian.com. Of course, you can also listen to your mobile at the TuneIn app by just downloading the app and clicking durianasian.com. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.